Is brain fog your new normal or just a fixable side effect of autopilot living? This week's podcast episode reveals how to stop reacting and start architecting the midlife brain you actually want. Welcome to the Unmute Your Midlife podcast, where we take you from foggy and forgotten to focused and lit up. I'm Joyce, your nurse turned resurrection strategist and cheerleader in your pocket, and I'm here to remind you that your next season in life is your power era. They say memory declines with age, but what if they're wrong? What if your brain isn't breaking down? It's begging you to take the wheel. We've all heard it. Oh, I just forgot because I'm getting older. Or midlife brain fog is just part of the deal. I must be losing it. I can't even remember what I walked in the room for. I know I've used that one. But here's the truth. The science does not support that inevitable decline. What most of us experience isn't destruction, it's disruption. From age 40 to 60, your brain is doing a lot. Your hormones are shifting, your stress is increasing, and your sleep is probably tanking. Mental bandwidth is maxed out. It's like trying to run today's devices on the old AOL dial-up internet, right? The bandwidth isn't there. But none of that means that you're broken. It means that you're living in a system that rewards autopilot, but your brain is asking for architecture. Your mind isn't losing power. It's just running someone else's operating system. Let's break this down. Midlife brain changes do happen, but they're more adaptive than destructive. They're more functional than fatal, and they're more responsive, so not necessarily permanent. Neuroplasticity, that's your brain's ability to rewire, it doesn't shut off at 40. It just stops happening by accident. And that's where you come in. So one thing the doctors usually don't have time to explain, the real issue isn't memory loss, it's memory neglect. You've spent all these years multitasking, people-pleasing, crisis managing, and so your brain has been reacting, but not designing. It's living on autopilot rather than intentionally engaging. So when the noise starts to clear and you suddenly notice, wait, how come I can't remember things like I used to? Let's look at what's really sabotaging your mental clarity. First, chronic stress. When you have that elevated cortisol, it does suppress memory. The next thing would be poor sleep. You have impaired memory consolidation. Plus, if you've listened to previous episodes, you've heard about how the lymphatic system does all of its cleanup during your deep sleep. A third thing could be nutrient poor food. That can definitely leave you foggy. It can keep your brain a little unfueled. Surprisingly, your brain needs a lot of fat to function. And so when you do these really fat restricted diets, it's going to affect your brain's ability to fire quickly or retrieve information. I would say the fourth thing is constant screen exposure. When you've got your computer and your phone and your iPad and whatever else, all these other devices going, or you're on TV sun up to sundown, it scatters your attention and it depletes your dopamine. A fifth thing that people don't necessarily think of often is gut dysbiosis. Basically, that means when your gut has inflammation going on or has disruption in its microbiome, that inflammation that's created can block the neurotransmitter production that helps with your memory retrieval. So your brain isn't failing you, it's just missing the best conditions for it to thrive. I know I've gone through phases where I just get really overloaded with responsibilities, projects, deadlines, and then when I'm not sleeping well or I'm forgetting my vitamins, forgetting to do my probiotics, I'll forget something super important, but super simple, something that you wouldn't need to write down, like say a family event that's supposed to happen one night that week. And I just almost spiral a little bit when that happens, because I'm like, how could I have forgotten that? But then when I stop and think about it, I'm like, well, I am mentally overloaded. It makes complete sense that I would forget that. So always set an alarm in your phone if it's really important. Luckily, you don't need to have a PhD in neuroscience to architect a brain that you love living in. You just need a few key practices that, like we like to say around here, we like to stack things. We like to build good habits and then stack another good habit on there and stack another good habit on there. Same thing. Or, if you're a money person, you could think about it like compounding interest. We'll call these brain builders. Brain builder 1 is daily novelty. You could learn something new. You could change up your drive to work or home from work or to the grocery store or the gym. You could use your non-dominant hand to do something that you normally do with your dominant hand. But that novelty, it sparks some neural rewiring or neural regrowth in the brain. Brain builder number 2 is nutritional support. This year, 2026, the research is clear. You need omega-3s, magnesium, B12, and polyphenols to support your memory and your cognitive speed. But you don't want to just take these from pills, from supplements. You want to get them from foods. And your polyphenols, guess where they come from? Vegetables. No, for real. Polyphenols, they're plant-based micronutrients. They have potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. And they give you really, really strong protection against chronic diseases like cancer, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes. You can find them in fruits, vegetables. You can even find them in coffee, tea, and dark chocolate, but they will neutralize the free radicals and support your gut health. And if you want to know more about polyphenols, you can Google them. It's a polyphenols, polyphenols. All right, let's get back to you. Our next one, brain builder number 3 is stress downtime. If you start with maybe 5 minutes a day where you go outside, you touch grass, or you sit in a quiet room and do some deep breathing, you sit somewhere where you can just enjoy silence. This isn't rest, it's giving your brain a chance to do some neurological repair. The 4th brain builder is going to be deep sleep focus. I mentioned earlier that the glymphatic system, it clears the toxins during deep sleep. Your brain can like auto clean while you're snoozing. So that's why you really got to make time to have some quality sleep each night. The key thing is your future mind starts now. The things that you do today are going to impact how your quality of life is tomorrow, next year, 10 years, 20 years from now. So let me ask you, are you going to keep living on autopilot, repeating that same story of decline that the world tries to sell us for midlife? Or are you going to step into architect mode and start designing the sharpest, strongest, clearest version of your mind? The choice is yours. Your memory doesn't need rescuing. It just needs you to lead it. It needs the you who's ready to build something beautiful with the next half of her life. And if you're ready to stop defaulting to autopilot and start designing your midlife, if you're really ready to stop defaulting to autopilot and start designing the best midlife brain that you can, we can work together. You can book an Unmute coaching call and we can architect your next level together. You can go to unmuteyourmidlife.com/talk, TALK, or you can check the show notes for a link and you can book your free call. If you want to know more about the glymphatic system, you can go back to another podcast I did, episode 15. It was called The Midlife Brain, Why Sleep Matters More Now. And we talk all about the importance of sleep. We talk about these things called telomeres that are in your brain and the glymphatic system and the importance of deep sleep. And there's some tips in there on how to improve your sleep. If that's a subject you need to do a deeper dive on, you can go back and listen to episode 15. And there's some resources at the end of that show as well. Okay, my friend, that's today's dose of midlife truth. Remember, you are not foggy, forgotten, or finished. You are just getting lit up for your next season. If today's episode hit, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who needs some help unmuting her own midlife. And until next week, keep unmuting, keep rising, and remember, your midlife resurrection starts right now.